So I'm going to title this, When You Are Your Best Friend, Everybody's Your Best Friend. When you completely love yourself, or when you lift yourself up, then everybody lifts you up. Because I think there might have been confusion, not for everybody, but for some people. I don't want to make it seem like you need to just be in this world alone and nobody helps you and all that stuff. It was on my previous video talking about self-love comes from within and not outside. It doesn't come from the outside because the outside is not real. I think I said that on my last upload. The outside is not real, so self-love can't come from the outside because the outside does not exist. It's on the inside. It's a collective consciousness of what's going on that creates the outside world. So somebody outside of you is not going to give you self-love, give you love. If you experience somebody else treating you well, lifting you up, showing you love, it's a result of what's inside. Now, I tried to explain that on my last upload about self-love comes from within. Now, I get that some people see it the wrong way, or see it a way that I did not intend for it to mean, because things that could be going on with them. But what I mean is that self-love goes beyond loving the physical self. Self-respect goes beyond respecting the physical person. The physical person that you think you see in the mirror is really an avatar. It's not even a real person. And what does person mean? Person is a persona. It's a character. It's a group of things in your life, and things that created your personality, which is the ego. The ego is like a personality. It's a character. And that's what you are. You're a character. What you see in the mirror is just like a physical representation. And it's only a small, very, very small representation of something that's much bigger, that is the real you. Okay? So when I talk about love comes from within, I'm talking about something much bigger than the inside of what you think is your physical body. You know? When you are on your side, everybody's on your side. Sometimes it's hard to see it like that because it takes a lot of rewiring for that to be, because some of us have grown up in a household with a family that was very negative. And so if you're in your childhood, you're in a family that's very negative or abusive, could be emotionally abusive, spiritually abusive. I don't know. I don't want to say the word spiritually abusive, because spiritual is a high vibration. So I know people have used that word spiritual work, doing on somebody called spiritual work in order to keep them from getting money, in order to terminate their life or unalive them. And that's been called spiritual work. I don't want to lower spiritual. Spiritual is a very high vibration. So I don't want to limit some low vibrational stuff and call that spiritual. A lot of things have been done to keep people from rising to their spiritual body and to their spiritual mind. Okay, but a lot of this low vibrational stuff for these entities to continue to feed off of people, they're not spiritual. A lot of stuff is done. People don't even know that they're not even controlling their own mind. The stuff that they think about doing stuff to folks, they don't know that something else is controlling their mind. There's another puppet master that's controlling them, and they think it's their thoughts. You know, when they want to unalive somebody to get some money, oh, let me sacrifice this person so I can get some money. And then you call that spiritual work. Spiritual is a much higher vibration than that. Because once you get on the spiritual realm and you get into a vibration like that, you don't need to sacrifice somebody else so you can get some money, because you'll be so high in vibration, you don't need to be doing nothing, expending no kind of energy to get anything you need. This type of realm is where you have to use the most energy to get what you need, and that's the reason why people need to sacrifice somebody else, because they feel like, but really they sacrificing something to somebody, another entity, to survive, and they don't know that's what they're doing. This is another entity that's planting thoughts in these characters that we call people. It was really for that entity to continue to survive, and people think it's for them to continue to get money, but it's really for a certain entity or entities to continue in this particular realm. And it's really to block people from the true spirituality. So it's really to block people from true spirituality. You know. But I want to say, when you are your friend, everybody's your friend. When you completely love yourself, everybody loves you. Because 100% complete self-love. Once a person, when you're a person, you're really no longer a person when you attain that. Honestly, you're actually transcended beyond the ego, just about. You almost completely transcended beyond the ego. When you have complete self-love, you pretty much have transcended beyond the ego, and you probably wouldn't even, you would exist in a much higher dimension anyway. You know, your conscious awareness will be in a much higher dimension. So basically, that's what I mean. So what I mean about self-love comes from within. That's what I'm talking about. So when I make the example of, you know, some of us, you know, and not to say that somebody hasn't helped me in my life, okay? But when you come from a background where you grow up with the family that's projected a lot of negative thoughts on you as a child, and then you grow up with your reality just seem to be all negative, where everybody seems to be against you and all that stuff, because that's a reality that's been created since you were a child, and you might not realize it until you're in your 40s or 50s. You might not see it. Because those are energetic impressions. Just because you get older don't make things better. It's an energetic impression. Don't have anything to do with your chronological age. It's energy. Okay? And so sometimes a lot of people are so flawed themselves to the point where you cannot rely on what you think is another person. You cannot rely on them to give you something, or you cannot rely on them to love you, or you cannot rely on them to lift you up, because there's a lot of people that's just as messed up. And a lot of times things that happen in our world is a result of a lack of energy or more energy. Sometimes when it seems like your whole day is bad, it's something else going on energetically. It's not necessarily that that person, not to say that people shouldn't take accountability, but I can't help but to notice sometimes when your day is bad, there's an imbalance somewhere. There's a lack of imbalance. There's a lack of harmony somewhere. And there's a lot of conflicting energy somewhere. So that let me know that a lot of things are energy. A lot of stuff that we see happening in our life is energy. Some of the arguments we get in is energy. Some of the stuff, even in relationships, it's an energy going on. That's what I'm talking about. Energetically, complete self-love. And to be honest with you, when you talk about complete self-love, it actually, to me, I'm going to say it goes beyond energy. Some people stop at energy, and that's fine if that's what they want to stop. But from doing my particular work that I've been doing, I have come to a realization that actually complete self-love actually goes beyond energy. Okay? So, yeah, and so that's what I mean. And so sometimes when you're in alignment with the highest form of the real you, when you are in alignment with it, then a lot of things tend to be in more harmony. It seems like people are nicer. It seems like, you know, things are just flowing easily. See, so that's what I mean by that. So it's not about you just need to be by yourself and don't depend on nobody else, and nobody's going to help you, nobody's going to lift you up. No, that's not what I mean by that. What I mean by there's the outside world is only a reflection of what's on the inside. Okay? And once that is lined up with the true you, which is true love, then you're going to experience what look like if you want a spouse. It could be a man or female. If you want a spouse that's going to love you unconditionally, it's only because if you actually get that, it's because of the love that you already had for you. It's already because of now some people are married to folks, and some people who have friends in their lives that they experience all this and they're not necessarily in alignment, but sometimes that has to do with the ego and stuff, and how the person who they are that is beyond the physical could have created that type of reality for them as a physical world, and for some of us, we have a higher divine being self that created certain things in our lives to happen so we can go to a certain level. Everybody's life is going to be different. But anyway, that is it, and I will talk later.